Hey, what's up everyone, TJ here. In this video, I'm reviewing the traditional Camber Never Summer Proto Ultra in collaboration with Snowboard Magazine. Let's dive into it. All right, real quick for your reference, before I get into the tech in this snowboard, I'm 5'10", I weigh around 155 pounds, and I rode this board in size 154. Now, if you're familiar with the Proto Ultra on the Never Summer lineup, you know that this is a very high performance, powerful true twin snowboard. It is the weapon of choice for Olympian Chris Corning. And the traditional Camber recurve version of this board stays true to that, but is even amplified by the traditional Camber profile. This is a freestyle focused, but very all mountain capable true twin snowboard in the Never Summer lineup. And like I mentioned, it runs their recurve traditional Camber profile. So let's talk about that for a minute. So this has Never Summer's triple camber, but it is bent to be positive camber through basically the whole body of the snowboard. So you are gonna have 2 reverse camber zones right under your feet and 3 distinct positive camber zones, the biggest of which is between your feet, 2 more right outside your feet, and that leads into some small reverse camber blends towards the contact points to mellow things out a little bit. But it is very important to note that this does have an overall positive camber bend to it. Let's go ahead and answer this question for those of you that are wondering. Yes, this board does feel like traditional camber. It's very powerful, very energetic, and responsive. It does stay true to that traditional camber feel that you would expect. Other than that, you're gonna find lots of great tech loaded into this snowboard, including their Power Grip side cut to help you out on more icy, firm conditions, which is further amplified by the pressure points that are created by this triple camber profile built into that traditional camber bend. You're also gonna find a ton of carbon built into this snowboard. You're gonna actually find 3 fat carbon X's in the layup. 1 kind of running through the main body of the snowboard here, kind of in between your feet, and then 2 more in the tip and tail. So this board is very responsive torsionally. That helps amplify the pop and snap you're gonna find in this thing, and just gives it a much more lively feel. And for those of you that really like to nerd out on the construction of boards, you're gonna find a lot of paulownia in the core of this snowboard, as well as some bamboo stringers for some extra snap, some birch reinforcements right underneath the inserts for more durability, and some poplar in the mix as well. And as you'd expect from Never Summer, you're also gonna get multiple dampening technologies built into the layup of this one to help mellow out chatter and vibrations and just give you a smoother, more damp ride overall, as well as a bomb-proof sintered base that Never Summer is known for. So that's gonna be a harder, more durable, dense base material that's known to be tougher and faster versus an extruded base. You do always wanna make sure to wax a sintered base regularly to maintain the optimal feel and a smooth glide all season. But from my experience, Never Summer does use a very durable base material. So that's it for a quick tech breakdown. Let's jump into how this board feels ripping around the resort. All right, let's start off talking about the flex you're gonna find in this snowboard. So the Proto Ultra is actually the stiffest true twin snowboard in the Never Summer lineup, and it does have a pretty stiff flex to it. This thing is gonna come through with a very powerful, responsive feel and a lot of stability. This thing is gonna be able to handle whatever you throw at it and stay solid under your feet. But can you get some flex out of it? You can, but it's gonna make you work for it. You're gonna be fighting against that traditional camber blend and that stiffer flex. It's not gonna be the most friendly butter and flat trick kind of snowboard. It kind of pushes that balance point a little bit further, closer towards the tips, out towards the contact point, which makes things a little bit more challenging. And it's just a very responsive board. So really any energy, any bump that you hit while you're trying to do that type of stuff, it's gonna give you a little bit of feedback. It's not particularly catchy. I do think that that reverse camber blend towards the contact points does mellow that out a little bit, but it is a little more difficult to just kind of sit in a tail press or a nose press on this one. You can still have fun with flat tricks, but I think it's more fun kind of utilizing the energy and that snap you're gonna find in the board more than just like sitting in a casual press. And I did spend quite a bit of time on this snowboard in the park out at Mammoth, as well as a little bit at Copper. And this is definitely going to be a more high performance jump leaning kind of snowboard when it comes to park laps. Like I mentioned, this is the board that Chris Corning rides when he's out there hitting massive big air jumps, riding slope style courses. And this is the kind of board that's going to have the stability to back you up as you really push it. You're hitting the biggest features in your park, you know, stepping up to the large jump line, hitting just straight up gap on rail features. It's going to have plenty of stability and plenty of energy as well. This does have a lot of pop and snap to offer. You can still have fun hitting jibs, but it definitely rides like a stiffer park board. So, you know, more techie tricks are going to be more difficult. Doing presses are harder as well. Like I said before, just kind of like sitting leaned into a press and flexing the board out is a little bit more challenging. It's just harder to find that balance point. It takes a lot more commitment. So it's the kind of board that you could like catch a rail like way outside your foot and just lean into a blunt, and it's going to hang on. It's going to have the stability and the power to back you up on that kind of stuff. And obviously going to be a very capable jump snowboard. If you're working on that kind of progression, working on bigger tricks and bigger features, this is a board that's going to help get you to that next level confidently. I also want to talk about the carving experience you're going to get with the Proto Ultra. And one interesting thing about the design of this snowboard that's very noticeable when you're carving is that this actually has kind of a mid-wide chassis to it. So at size 154, you're going to get a 26 centimeter waist width, which is great if you have a larger boot size to help mitigate that heel and toe drag. And for me, I think it just helped make more aggressive carves a little bit more accessible. You can lean this board over more aggressively, do Euro carves, revert carves, just dive into some turns and not really have to worry about your toes digging in. You're also going to find around a 7.3 meter side cut in this snowboard at this size, which is a little bit tighter, but still a very versatile side cut. Going to give you very nice, agile and nimble carves. But I think that the biggest standout when you're carving this snowboard, aside from the width, which is very noticeable, is just how locked in this board is. So I rode it in some heavier, slushier snow conditions that tend to push back a little bit more. And this board is going to be able to just power right through that. If you're taking this thing out on a more variable day, it's still going to hold a confident edge, and it's going to be able to blast through that chunder, get through that slush, and keep a nice, confident feel underfoot. I also think it's worth noting that that reverse camber blend towards the contact points does make initiating turns a little bit easier and just gives the board a little bit of a more forgiving feel overall, considering the amount of precision and power you're going to find in this thing. But the biggest highlight for me when it comes to carving is just how locked in and powerful this board feels. Obviously, if you have like ideal groomer conditions early in the morning, midwinter, this thing is going to be a pleasure, but it's still very capable and fun even later in the season in sloppier snow conditions. This thing stays sturdy under your feet. Overall, the Proto Ultra is a board that's going to give you that true twin versatility wrapped in a bit of a more high performance aggressive package. It's a board that's going to be just as confident mobbing around the resort as it is hitting large park jumps. It's definitely going to be better suited for those of you that have some experience under your belt and want something that offers a lot of power and precision. I think it is definitely intended to be more of a freestyle snowboard, but with that width and the stability, it happens to be a very capable all-mountain twin as well. So if you're looking for something like that, or maybe you've just been wanting to try a Never Summer board, feel out their tech and construction, but wanted to try something traditional camber, this could be a great one to check out as well. If you do want to read more about it, I'll have it linked down below in the description of this video so it's easy to find, as well as a link to the latest issue of Snowboard Mag. So please make sure to go check that out. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for watching today. Let me know what you think of the review. Let me know what you think of this snowboard. And make sure to like if you got some value. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here. I will see you in a new review next time. Later, guys.